Everyone, my name is Ifeolu and welcome to my channel. Today, this video is based on web development in a simplified way, and the series is tagged Web Development Simplified. It's going to be a series, and from today, we're going to be looking at the basics of building websites, how to becoming a pro, and we're going to be looking at the core functions or core languages and core frameworks, which would include using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then obviously some JavaScript function as well as some PHP frameworks as well. So we're also going to delve into database using MySQL, and it's going to be fun all along. I hope you enjoy and you learn as we go. Okay, so remember the essence of this channel is to help you learn 4 times faster than the regular. So we're not going to be doing so much hello world thing. We're just going to be feeling how to work with real world projects. So it's going to be really raw. So getting started, I mean, if you watch some of my videos, you can find link in the description below. I've talked about how to set this up initially, but I'll just quickly touch them again. So first, for you to be able to run or work on codes on your system, you probably need to have a code editor, which can be either Sublime Text or I'm just showing you VS Code or using VS Code here because of course my own preference, and some other people have several preferences, but you can try as many as you want. But I just advise that for a start you can have a look at VS Code. So to download VS Code, just go to this link, then check out which of your computer which computer you're using, and then download the one that belongs to your computer, either a Mac or a Linux, or this is Ubuntu rather, or you're using a Windows. So just download the one that falls under your computer category, and once you download and run it, you should have something like this on your computer. So you should have this kind of interface where you see everything happening within VS Code, and then you can see some of the recent projects I've worked on. Of course, if it's your computer, it will definitely probably be empty. If you're just installing, or if you have been working before, you probably have some of the things you've worked on before. And then of course you can also connect. One of the reasons why I advise VS Code is because you can also connect to your Git for version control. And then also next is to download XAMPP. Yeah, so for you to download XAMPP, what are we using XAMPP for? The name implies is like XAMPP is for Apache, MariaDB, PHP, and PL. So it helps us to install those sets of tools on our computer, as well as Apache server and all those, so you can run something like a database on your computer. So let me just show you what I mean. So if you visit this site, you can download any of the one that belongs or that matches your computer. So if you're using a Mac, if you're using a Windows, just download the one that matches your computer, and then it comes pre-install with PHP. So you have PHP on your computer, and then you're good to go with anything that has to do with database for now. So take for instance, you want to check after installation. You're supposed to have an interface that looks like this. Of course, for Windows it's slightly different. You have some boxes here, and then you can just start each of the servers, or you start them all together. So for Windows, you can it's the same process. You'll see the start button as well. So before Apache can begin to run, you have to start it up. So at the moment mine is running. So once you click on start or start all, this same button is apply on both. You can just click any of the one you want to start. If it's only database you want to run, you can just start. But here I'm running actually everything. So once you've confirmed that, then you can just, after starting up that, you can just go to localhost. So when you visit localhost, you see the landing page for XAMPP, which tells you that yes, your computer has installed XAMPP server. So you see everything that is on XAMPP, and then you can just go to my PHP admin, where you will find you will find some basic ones. I think the defaults that comes with there are some default databases that come with my PHP admin, but you can as well just, for test purpose, we're not going to get into much of this today. You can just create a sample DB and say web session, right? So once you create a DB is database anyways. So in a database, we have several tables. Tables are like your different compartments within a building. So tables are where you store all your data in columns and in rows. So columns are probably like different information types, and then you have the rows for different lists. So anyway, we're not going into much of that. So that's for XAMPP. And then next is we're not going to be dealing with this too much for now. So of course, Node.js, you just go to nodejs.com, follow the link, and then download the one that matches your computer. This one automatically recognizes your device type. So just download and set up. Of course, for you to confirm if Node is running on your computer, you can just do a terminal command. So if you are using a CMD or a Windows rather, for you to know, you can just run something like Node version V. So when you run Node V, it tells you which version of Node you are on. You can see this is the one I have installed, but the current one is like 19.1, and then the one that is called stable. So if you're looking at these two versions, right, on the computer, you can see one is writing LTS, one is writing current. So this is the newest one, and this is the stable one. Stable one means that is the one many people are comfortable with and less issues. But if you're moving to current, it's always very tricky. So most times they don't. That's why they put it there. They don't advise that you download the latest. Just download the one that is stable. But we're not getting into much of that just yet. We're going to get into it later. So, right, the aim of this particular session is to expose us to HTML, and then as well as to some CSS and what they do. So what is HTML itself? HTML helps us to understand. HTML helps us to script our web pages. It's like our structural tool for a website. So it's called hypertext markup language, HTML. So the whole markup is like your structural markup. Means that don't forget, a website is like a combination of web pages, right? So what this does for us is to help us put each page together, like put the information or the structure of every page together. So regardless of number of pages you have on your website, there's always an element of HTML with everything, like the text, the images, the videos that are playing, everything as HTML as its core. Do you understand? So it brings, of course, there are bit differences when it comes to working with frameworks and the likes, but basically the bedrock of everything is HTML. So just like I showed in some of my videos, you can still find links to some of my videos, like my first set of videos here. So if I check facebook.com, let me just stop this here now. If I check facebook.com and then I do inspect, or let me just view page source. So if I do any of these two, I just want to show us what HTML is, regardless of how big or how robust our website can grow to become. So look at it. Everything here are HTML script, but like they have been tailored to match whatever this website is all about. So you can see here in this script, you have, of course, doc type HTML, you can see it, but Facebook scripting has taken so much that many of those things are coming as an import, or many of the things you see are coming as an import, either a JavaScript import or a CSS import or whatever it is. You see many JavaScript here. Of course, this is actually a build, right? It's actually a build, so it doesn't show you exactly what the HTML page or HTML scripting looks like. So like running a build. When we get to React.js, you're going to see what running a build is. So running a build will just kind of like, it would package a whole file into bits, and then you can see something like this. You can see several things just coming as import. It has bundled the whole website, and then of course we'll get into more of that. But the aim is to show you that everything, regardless of how big the website is going to come back to being HTML, right? So that's like for the structure. So next that we're going to be looking at is what happens with after structuring. You're going to definitely need to put some CSS or some styling. That's why it's called cascading style sheet. So for styling, most times we use CSS, and with CSS you can then do like giving colors, giving some nice aesthetics, setting backgrounds, settings. Well, CSS does have some little animations as well, setting animation, like making it scroll, making it fade in, fade out. All those effects can be added using CSS, but some of those functions needs a bit of JavaScript to actually activate and then make set timing and all those things. So it does all those things. So let's just look at some few things about HTML. So let's get hands dirty. So I'm going to start a new project. Here I'm just going to do a new folder generally, or I think I have a folder name. So I'll go to my desktop, web, let's find it, web session here. So just a blank folder. So we're going to be creating an HTML page, right? Raw HTML page, as well as add little CSS such that we can see how they both work together. And then we're going to look at how to import CSS as well if we're actually scripting CSS outside our HTML file. Then we're also going to be looking at how to add several like attributes for HTML. So like we have attributes like paragraphs, title, all those things. We're going to just look at them all together. So my folder is already open on, if you're using VS Code, right, you'll see your folder and then you can see my folder is currently empty. So I'll just create a file. So I'll create index.html file. So for every website that you see, right, index.html is the entry point. It is the entry point. Of course, with JavaScript, you also have index.js. With PHP, you have index.php. The hierarchy to all those things. But generally, index is like number one. When you hear index with anything, you know, one is like the entry point to everything. So here, of course, I'll still show us some VS Code fast method as to how to put some of these things. But for now, we're going to follow the old method out. So what happens with scripting HTML is doc. Okay, so we're learning 4 times faster. So with VS Code, you can already see that it's telling me that a preamble for HTML. Once I click enter now, it will drop everything, right? I'm then going to do HTML. So it's closing my tag. Okay, so also you need to know that this is not a tag specifically, but for every tag within HTML, it opens and it closes. So when you see HTML first, then you see the one with the backslash as well. So HTML, and then what I'm going to be doing is I just want to script. So head, we want to put, so for the head, right, when you are scripting an HTML page, head is like where you put basic information about a page that you're trying to create. So basic information like title, descriptions, they're quite a vast number of them. And then setting view type and all those things. So I'm just going to do a title. So with title, I can just say first web session. So with this, right, my page has started building actually, but I mean I'm not able to see it here. So what I'm just going to do for you to confirm what this title means is I'm going to go to my folder. Yeah, this is my folder, and then launch this with a browser. So once I launch this, you can already see my page is running. And for you to know the title, you can find it here. So it says what? My first web session. Means that your web session is the title of your website. You can see for this one is Node.js, for this one is download our Visual Studio. And then you have you can see icon in front of each and every one of them. So of course, we don't have an image yet. Let's not get into that. There are quite a lot of other information we can add here, but I'll get into that later. I just want to deal with the core HTML parts. So we have body. So with body, right, is like everything you want within the main page or within the interface of your website. So you, after the head, you can bring body. Within the head, then we can do some several imports or some several stylings as well, or some skip scripting. So like here we can do style. So when we do this, we can put CSS in between this place, and then we can do script as well, and then where we put JavaScript in between. But we're not getting into all those yet, so I'll just stay with this. So next thing is we have headers. So with this we have header 1, right? So when you see H represents headers. So we have 6 of them. So we can do header 1. Let's just do this. So I'm just trying to show us what this can be, right? So for this we have this header 1, header 2, header 3. We're going to see the different sizes. Header 4, header 5, header 6, right? So with this, when I refresh my page, I'm going to see everything. So you can see we have header 1, 2, 3, different sizes. So these are kind of like defaults that comes with your HTML. So you can use it anyway within your script, right? So depending on what you're doing, you can just write header 1, or you can just pick header 2, or sometimes you might want to do custom styling, but we'll get into all that later. So these are all for like titles, subheadings, and the likes within your page. We'll get to the use later. So some of the things you might also want to look at is for the body, we have text paragraphing. So you have something like this is the day I am very happy and excited about. Okay, so this is just the paragraph text, right? This is just the paragraph text. There's nothing too much about it. So when you see P, you know it's a paragraph text. And then within paragraph text as well, we can have some things like quotes, italics, and the likes. So I can just do, sorry, Jesus of yours. So Q. So when you do a quote, you can then say, aren't you? So when I check this out, it's going to give me something like in quotes. That's why it's quotes. So most times we use this when you are writing blog posts. So within a blog post, you'll see probably at the top of the blog post, you'll see maybe a quote within, like an excerpt within the page. You can have something like this. And then we can have something like this as well. I, italics. I is for italics. And then you can have, yes, I am. Okay, don't mind my English, I'm not combining anything. So you can see this is the paragraph text, this is the quotes, and then this is the response in italics, right? So you can have all that within your page with several looks and however you want to have it. So also, we can have something like a list. So there's we don't have to write number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4 ourselves in HTML. That's why it's our structural framework or structural language. So what happens here is I can do a list. There are two types of lists. There's unordered list and there's ordered list. So for an unordered list, right, we would be requesting or we'll be having pages or list of items without numbering, right? That's an unordered list. It will just have bullet points. But with an ordered list, we would have items being numbered. That is item within that list. So take for instance, I want to say let's just do a UL unordered list. So when you see UL, most of these things are kind of like simple words that we can put in our heads, but you don't have to memorize them. The more you use them, the more you get familiar with it. So you have UL. So I can do for every UL or within a UL, you then have to put the list item, which is now going to be LI. So LI is let's just do list of food, fish. I just want to copy this: fish, beef, eggs, oats, milk. So when I check this list right now, this is what I'm going to have. And another list, you have basic information or basic list of items like that. We can actually do some tweaks to all this, but we'll get to that later, right? And then you can then have just let's copy and paste this and then make this one OL instead. So if we do OL, you will see the list will be numbered, right? So you have this right all together. And then within your pages as well, you can have things like links. You can probably think, oh, okay, after reading this page, read more. So in informations like that, we put a link and you use the anchor tag ticket. So say go to let's do a go to shop our online store. Visit our online store instead. So visit our online store. With this, there's an attribute within it, we call it href. That is which page you want it to go, index.html. This particular video is very basic and I don't want us to get confused, so I want us to know what each of these things does from the very beginning, right? So you can see Vista Online. So when you click on this now, it redirects you to a link. Of course, it's currently redirecting us to the same page, but of course, if you want to change the link, you can then change the link. So take for instance, let's add another page, right? Let's add another page. Just say store.html. So like now we are trying to link two pages. So store.html, all I can just do is HTML. Please, I'm writing everything basic. I don't want to jump. I'm not trying to use any intelligence from VS Code right now. So we have title. Don't forget we have head. So with head I put title. So I'm trying to link two pages now. Title. So online store. So with this online store, I then go to body. So with this body, I'm then going to put things like, let's just create a list with everything we sell. So let's say, let's do a paragraph first, or a header. Let's do H4. Header saying, welcome to our store. This is pretty basic. Welcome to our store. So when the user sees this, okay, welcome to our store. Let's do a paragraph and say, shop as you want. Alright, so with this paragraph, then let's just do a list of items that we sell. In order not to waste time, let's just copy and paste unordered, because of course you don't want to be showing numbers based on the items you have. So let's just copy and paste this. So these are the things that we sell, right? So now at the moment we're on this page and I want to route my user to our store page. So I'm just going to do store.html. Okay, sorry today. Store.html, right? So when I click on this now, right, and I go to Vista Store Online, you can see. So these are the two pages now linked together. So I can just go back, Vista Store again, and then it takes me to the store, right? Of course, we can still get to the beauty of all these pages, right? So next thing right now is to bring like images into place. So if, take for instance, you're trying to load an image on your page, maybe let's continue working with the store, maybe image of fish, beef and the likes. We are not styling yet, we are just bringing images, please don't forget. So I'm just going to look for fish image. I'll probably do it in two ways. I'll download, let's look for a common fish, titus or mackerel, whichever one. Oh, sorry. Okay, so take for instance, okay, so let's copy this image address. Right click and copy image address. Right, so I'm going to show us how to bring the image in. So now it's within this list, so I don't want to break the list. So there's another thing we call BR. BR is break line, right? So I'm going to first bring the image. So to import an image, you do img and then you do your source, right? But for an image, you know, I told us about closing tag and opening tag. Okay, I'm supposed to be editing the store site, not the store page, not this one. So you see now, so I'm supposed to be editing this one. So right, I told us about opening and closing tags. So for us to do that, in this one, in images, you don't have to do /image. You get, you don't have to do /this. For an image, what you just need to do is to close it within the opening tag itself at the end. So you have something like this. And then I was saying break line. So in order not, okay, let me just import the image first. So when I copied this URL, just copy the image address and then paste it. So when I refresh my page right now, my online store page, you can see my fish is showing, right? But you can see where this text is just on the same line with this. So So for that not to happen, what I can just do is to break the line. So you put a BR, and then your fish comes under. Can you see? It comes under the text. So for each of our products, we can just do that. So I'm just going to look for the images. Beef, eggs, oats. Okay, what's left? I think milk. So I'm just going to follow this. I just get images generally from here. So beef, it's stick. I'm using stick so that we'll find the actual one. Oh, sorry, it's loading a page for me instead. So I've just copied image address. Eggs, you should find this easily. So I'll just copy all the image address. So I'm going to show something after as well. This is too long. Wow. It's actually a bit 64 image, so we might not be able to use that kind of long script. Copy image address, right? So when you copy, just paste it here. This is better. So let's just leave these 3 items for now so that we won't have too much to load. Right? So at the moment, we are actually importing the image from URL. Right? So you see all my products now. They will have the meats and the likes, but this is looking terrible. That's why it's just for structure, no design. So we just have let's just do a width of this attribute is just to set the width size so that it won't be like that one we're saying. So 100. Let's just set 100 for each of the items. These are so let's see, it should drop each of the sizes now. Yeah. So we have, relatively something we can see. So we can see the fish, the meat, the beef, and then the eggs. These are our products that we sell, right? So for these our products, right, we need to probably like do some things like buttons and the likes. Or okay, before that, let me just show us how to now put this image within. So if I click on this image now, I can decide to download them, save image as. So when you download this image, you can also import it from your file folder. So let's go to, I think, web session. So I'm just looking for, web session. So you can create a folder, name it images, right? And then put fish, right? So let's do same for others. So once you have downloaded the image, you don't need the address again. Save image as. You don't need the address again. All you just need to do is, this is mates, to import them directly from your computer. Save image as eggs. Right? So we don't need to do so much here again. So all I just need to do right now is now to navigate to that folder. So in getting your folders or to navigate to any folder, you can see the image folder here already. In navigating to this folder, we have to learn project structure, right? So at the moment, index and store, they are on the same parent folder, right? Or in the same parent folder. So if I want to do anything with them, I don't need to go back or go to the front. So, but for this one, image and index or image and store, they are in the same parent folder, but what we need is inside of image. So we need to first go into the image folder and then into whichever image we are trying to use. So let's go, let's pick this image for fish. So we're going to do At the moment, you can do backslash dot backslash. Then you can see it's already bringing it images. Then the first one is fish, right? So if I say this now, I'm still going to have the same image again. You can see that. So the same thing applies with all others. So all you just need to do is to put the name on the file. So just do, this is eggs, yeah, and then this is meat. Yes, so we have our pages, we're building our own store, right? So now with this, looking at all this now, you have all the information necessary or required within your page, but it doesn't look nice anyways. Okay, we're still going to, we need actions. So let's do some buttons. We need action, so we can do things like let's just add a button and say of course if you do button directly, this probably works for fonts for forms most times. Can say buy. So let's see what buy looks like. Can you see? So in order to make our listing looks nice, let's just give some line breaks. Of course we can achieve this with CSS without having to put line breaks though. I just want to give space in between. So I'm pretty following just HTML now, so as not to get us confused. Yes, so we give space between each and every one. So I just add a buy button to everything. So beef buy. Okay. So now we have, we have an online store. Let's put a link that takes us back to our home. So let's just copy this. Go back. So with this, all we can just do is index.html. So anyone that comes to our store can still return back to our home. So I'll visit our online store. Go back here. So we've linked both like that. Right. So another thing we can look at within HTML is tables. Right. So for tables, you have things like, in case you have maybe like for each of these items now we want to put description, calories and the likes. We're not doing UI yet, so please understand that everything we're just doing is raw HTML. So for each of these products now I might decide that okay, I want to put something like, let's break the line, table. So I'm going to do table, right? This one has a closing and opening tag. So with table, next thing to do is to add table head or table row. Do you understand? So for table, you have something like t head. So for t head, you can have something like data, table data, calories. Let's see what that looks like. Right, this is the head, and then you have t body. You might not see the table right now, so t body, t r, td, 120 kilocal. Let's see what that looks like right now. I'm trying to see why I'm not having this. So if I have another one, it should go sideways. Why is that happening? Table row, table data. Okay. TRTH. So we're going to have this. Let's bring this here. Yeah. So that's how it's supposed to go. We're supposed to have this kind of flow. And then the same thing for all of that table data. So you have, you have something like this. Well, this one is for styling like top part of the table itself. So for this, you're going to use this. right? And then you can have several other information like TATH. Let's see what this can happen again if we double this. Yeah, so yeah, that's how it works. So you can have plenty information. You can have plenty information as to that. Sorry, I just lost my boards. You can have plenty information as to that, and then with that, we have a table. I'm just going to. I want to just style them 20 calories. I don't want to put too much. So let's put calories here and then just close it like this. Yeah, that's the unit. And then as well as for this, what can we use? Would it be materials or trying to look for a word? Vitamins or protein? Just a text, just a random text. So what happens with table data and table row is you have your main table title kind of like on the left, and then your data can just keep forming rows up to that extent. And then so many information you probably want to put on this, but right now we're not getting into much of those details, but we've just seen what a table can look like. So I'm going to put it up instead so that the action comes after you have read everything about the item. So the same thing for beef. I'm just going to put it up instead as well. So I'm just going to put this up as well. So at the moment we have our products telling us whatever is inside and all those things. And then next thing is you might want to look at from this place, where do we head? Like we need to probably purchase our item and the likes. So when a user wants to buy, right? When a user wants to buy, what is the next thing to do? We are going to take an action. What's the action like? Fill your name and give us your details, right? So what we do in such situation is now we're going to create another page. So we're just doing raw HTML. So let's create another page and call it buy form. So that when user clicks any of this button here, we make them perform an action, right? So what happens at this screen? Let's just bring .html. Let's bring HTML into place. Let's do head. Title. Buy item. I'm just giving it a generic name anyways. So body. And then we can put all those other scripting in between later. So what we want to do now is on button. For button, I'm going to have to change it so that we can actually use href. So I'm going to, for each of these, I'm going to use link instead, because if I'm going to use the button requires an on-click function, and I don't want to write any on-click function yet. So I'm just going to do, and for you to do that, actually you do on-click function and then Windows location and all those things, but no, I don't want us to do that now. So let's do this instead. And then for that, what we will do is href, and then we'll do buy.html. Yes, .html. Then I think next thing, I think we can put a type button. Let's see if it changes to a button type. No, it won't. Okay, let's leave it at this. So for buy now, so if somebody clicks on buy, let's put a line break. Alright, so if somebody clicks on buy, does it look nice? It goes to the buy page, right? So on the buy page, what we want to do is just to add the form, right? So we just want to add a form. I hope this is not too much. I might probably just want to end it after this, right? So if you're able to create these 3 pages, import the images, then you have all the necessary basics to create a page. then we just touch a little of CSS. Okay, so for a form right now, for you to add a form is just simple. Just do a form. Oh, sorry, not a form. A form, right? So for a form, we have several tags as well. We have input, we have text area, we have labels and the likes like that. So what's going to happen is, for this one, we're just going to do something pretty simple. So what happens first with form is you have an action as part of the attribute. I'm not going to be defining any action here because it needs either a PHP or a JavaScript file. So we won't define any action, and then the method. So what we call method is like your how do you want the computer or the browser to handle this action? Yes. How do you, so we set an action. Action is maybe go to a page or visit this link. So what happens when I get to that link? Okay, get this information or post this information. So at the moment it's going to be a post. Do you get? So that's a post method. So next, right, within that we're then going to have things like labels, whatever, legend, whatever things. So we can just do legend. So legend is your name, right? So within your name we can put a label. These are actually supposed to be in a field set though. Inputs. So within that input, you can then say type of this input is text, right? And then you have to define the name of the field. This is a field actually, so you define the name of the field. So the name is for name, right? And then when maximum length, we get to all this later. Maximum length is like if you want to specify the number of text or character the person can enter in this form. So let's just set that 50. So like the image one, you also close this tag inline. You don't have to create slash input again. So I'm supposed to put this in a field set. So let's do a field set. Yeah. So this is supposed to be in a field set. Right. So let's see what it looks like. Can you see? So you have your name and all those nice effects and all those things in between. Right, that's because I'm using a legend, right? If I decide not to use a legend and just leave it, you can see what it looks like. No details. If I decide not to put a field set and just do this. Oh, that reminds me. Have I showed us how to commit or comment rather? So you can comment out your code with this this open bracket, then the colon, then dash dash, then close brackets. Or on your VS Code, or you can just do this command or control slash, like backslash. Anyways, so you can have this, but I mean I want it to be nicer, so we put it within the field set. You don't necessarily have to always do this though, but we have this, and then you can specify the width of this. I believe, let's say 100. Let's see what it looks like. Okay, we'll do all this within this style. I just wanted it to be bigger. So if I refresh this and I try to enter words character more than 5, it won't take it. It only take 5. So that's what that does. So let's just I think I want to take this out. Okay, yeah, because it's not doing anything. So next thing is another field. Your address in case of delivery. So I can just do address, right? And then I can just do, you know what, maybe we should just take this away. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, so that we won't have this big stuff making the item stand in between. Then necessarily, we're just going to put a brick so that there's space in between each item. Okay, that's just one, so it's not taking it. Yeah, so I know your address. So I just take the next thing would then be details, but let's just say maybe card details anyways, or email. Okay, there's a reason for this. So for your email, right, your type has to be different. So your type has to be email, right, for a form that requires email, or for a form that requires password, this has to be password. So HTML will recognize that that particular field is a password field and will treat it as a password field. So what happens in cases like that, then you can make it obscure, like you can hide the text and the likes. So let's see if we can do password here though. So password name will be password as well. These names are important because if you're going to be sending through any action here, you're going to use these names to pick up each of the entries by the user. Do you get? So your password, can you see? So that's what happens. It's taking maximum length for all. So let's just change the maximum length to like 20. So you can see you have all these forms, and then next thing you have within your form is a submit button. So you do a button and then submit. So type is submit. Okay, so with this now, let's break it as well. So you can see I'm using break line for everything I'm doing here, right? It's not because we don't have a better option. It's because we are only working with HTML. So I think with this, if you're able to practice and get this 3-page out, let's put a return home button as well, or a return home link. If you're able to practice and get this done, you would be good with yourself in another video where we'll just probably take the CSS. I'm having to stop at this point because it looks like it's getting too much. Yes, so I'm going to stop at this point, and then for the next video with these same files, we are going to work on how we can bring everything together using CSS, making it nicer, addressing our items, putting them as rows, setting them, making them look nice. Once you're able to achieve this with the form, and then when you click on buy, you want to go to a form where you say, okay, put your name, tell us where you address it, and your email and password for whatever reasons, and then submit will also perform a function. Maybe not in the next video, but in the next video, we're going to style our first 3 pages. So I hope you have created your own as well, or you create your own as you watch this video. So I intended to get to CSS with this video, but with what I've done, I want you to digest this and try some other things as well. Once you're able to digest this, my next session will probably handle all the CSS of this, and then we would also get into putting some like submit function into place. All right, I hope you've learned. I hope you enjoyed the session. This is just raw HTML. We could do this better, but we're just using HTML for now, and we will see how to import things like after treating CSS, then we'll look at getting Bootstrap in place, or maybe deal with CSS, who knows, and all those things. So for now, bye, and please like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.